Hi, lovely ladies. Welcome to another week of the Weekly Well. It's so great to have you here, and thank you for joining me. I want to talk this week, piggyback a little bit on what we were talking last week about the knowledge is power piece. And what I was saying is that ultimately that is important, right? That knowledge does offer us power in the fact that when we know better, we do better. But we need to put in the doing piece. So it is really not powerful until we act on what we know. And in order to act upon what we know, we need to acknowledge what needs to change first. We need to come to a place where we say, okay, I know that something needs to change. Because ultimately, we cannot change what we can't see, okay? So what happens is then sometimes we know it needs to change. We're aware of it. It's part of now our kind of like file cabinet in our mind, okay? It's something that we step upon, we see it, we hear ourselves, we see a book on a bookshelf or hear something in a movie and it rings the bell and we're like, yeah, it's something I really need to work on. So what happens in that case is it actually at times can trick our brain into thinking that we are changing because we're thinking about it so often. We confuse the knowing with the doing part. Does that make sense? Okay, so what happens then is that we end up not doing squat, right? Nothing changes. And we get frustrated and we get pissed off and we get annoyed and we're like, but we've been putting so much into this, so much. And we forget to stop and really think about that it was actually all thinking power and not doing power. We didn't act upon it. We didn't do anything. We confused the knowing with the doing. So I want to talk this week about that, about where we ultimately get stuck. Because if we didn't get stuck, everything would be good. Our habits would be changed. Our goals would be reached, right? So we need to know where we get stuck. And we all have a place, ladies, where when the shit gets real, we pull back. We stop. We say, nah, it's getting too real for me around here. This doesn't feel good. I don't like the way this feels. And yeah, I'm out. See you later. We all have that place. And if we can figure out where that is, there's so much power in that to break through to the other side. Some of you may be what I'm about to describe. I call it the hunter-gatherer. Okay. And the hunter-gatherer is the woman who loves to research. She absolutely enjoys looking up things and researching how to do something. So in other words, let's take, for example, she wants to open up a bed and breakfast. She's always dreamed about opening up this beautiful bed and breakfast. She has books on it. She sees it in her sleep. So she researches it ad nauseum. She is going to make this happen. And then right before she is going to open the bed and breakfast, something kind of shifts and she decides, you know what? I've really always wanted to be a wildlife photographer. It's like something I've always wanted to do. So she dives into that and she goes, and right before she's about to buy the plane tickets to get out of here for the Outback, something else clicks and she says, you know what? I really want to do fill in the blank. So I call that person the hunter-gatherer. She's always looking and always researching and loves that piece so much that she may confuse, probably does confuse, well, more often than not confuses that knowing piece with the doing piece. That's where she gets stuck. She gets stuck there. Maybe you stop right before the tough conversation. Maybe right before that I love you. Or maybe you stop right after the I love you. Or maybe you finally mustered up the courage to put together that really good proposal that you know damn straight is going to change the bottom line for your company, and you go to hit send and you stop. Or maybe you stop before you even get out of bed in the morning. Before you even get out of bed in the morning, you come up with all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. I am not strong enough. I'm not bright enough. I'm not whatever. So your I am is already telling you, why bother doing anything different? We have to figure out where we get stuck for change to happen, for us to be able to get through to the other side. It took me years, ladies, to figure out where I get stuck. I am really good at researching. I'm really good at writing books. I'm really good at writing articles. I'm really good at writing my comfort zone. I'm good at coaching one-on-one. And it took me years to figure out that I get stuck after I send it, after I publish it, after someone says, yeah, we want it. That's where I would get stuck. I froze. I didn't want to promote it. I didn't want to look at social media. I didn't want to go any further because it took me a long time to figure out, and with coaching and help, that I was afraid of the judgment piece. I was afraid of what others may say about my work. And it stopped me from making it so badass so everyone could enjoy it, that piece. But until I figured that out, I would send, so to speak, I would publish, but then it would just fall flat because I only got so far. It's like a bun in the oven, right? So you put the bun in the oven, if you're making like buns for dinner, and you put it on 350 and you put it in, and after you put the pan in, you turn the oven off. And so the buns only rise a little bit and they get stuck in that little squat position. They don't finish rising. It's kind of what I'm talking about. We need to figure out where we get stuck. You have a place, I guarantee. And once you recognize that place, we can come up with tools to help you overcome, barrel through, get on with your getting on, and get to the other side and make the changes that I know you want to make, that you are meant to make to be your badass self. Okay, so until next time, I wish you a phenomenal week, and join in on the conversation. I want to hear where you get stuck. Let me know. Talk to you soon.